Writing systems are all around us. There are alphabets like the Roman alphabet, Hebrew, Arabic, Cyrillic, and Sanskrit, and there are character systems like Mandarin and Kanji. It all began in the ancient Levant around the second millennium BCE with a consonantal writing system used for Semitic languages. This script evolved into the Proto-Semitic script in ancient Egypt, where Semitic-speaking workers simplified hieroglyphs to represent their own Canaanite language. From there, the Semitic alphabet spread across the Middle East, Europe, Africa, and Pakistan through scripts like Phoenician, Aramaic, and Nabatean, ultimately influencing many modern writing systems. Some call these early scripts Abjads, distinguishing them from true alphabets like Greek, which added vowels. And guess what? Latin, the alphabet we use today, traces its roots back to Phoenician via the Etruscans and the Greeks. This means that all alphabets are technically related. Did you know that before the development of the first alphabet, there were two ancient scripts, Mesopotamian cuneiform and Egyptian hieroglyphs? Hieroglyphs, used in ancient Egypt, served various purposes, including representing objects, sounds, and providing context. Interestingly, they could have been used as a consonantal alphabet, but this wasn't the case in Egyptian writing. However, this idea likely influenced the creation of the first alphabet for Semitic languages. From there, all alphabets worldwide can trace their origins back to the Semitic alphabet or its descendants through cultural diffusion. Continuing with the evolution of the Semitic alphabet, the Proto-Semitic script, believed to be alphabetic, likely recorded the Canaanite language and dates back to around 1850 BCE, with the oldest examples found as graffiti in the Wadi al-Hul. This script adapted Egyptian hieroglyphs to represent consonantal values based on the first sound of the Semitic name for the depicted object. This was followed by the acrophonic principle. This refers to naming letters of the alphabet so they sound like the sound that they represent. For example, Greek's sigma. For instance, the hieroglyph for house represented the sound b in Semitic, as it was the first sound in the Semitic word beit for house. While little of this Proto-Canaanite script has survived, evidence suggests it retained its pictographic nature for around 500 years until its adoption for governmental use in Canaan. The Phoenician city-states were among the first to extensively use this alphabet, leading to later stages being referred to as Phoenician script. Due to the maritime prowess of the Phoenicians and their extensive trade networks, the Phoenician alphabet spread through the Mediterranean, influencing other scripts such as the Aramaic and Greek alphabets, which have had profound impacts on the history of writing. So, the Phoenician and Aramaic alphabets, much like their Egyptian predecessor, only represented consonants following the Abjad system. Now, the Aramaic alphabet, which sprouted from Phoenician around the 7th century BCE, became the official script of the Persian Empire. It's like the original ancestor of nearly all modern alphabets in Asia, except India. Now, let's imagine an alphabetic family tree. The Arabic alphabet swooped in from Aramaic through the Nabatean alphabet down in what's now considered southern Jordan. It's the second most used alphabetic system worldwide, right after the Latin script, and reigns supreme as the go-to Abjad system. Then, we've got the modern Hebrew alphabet, which started as a local spin-off of Imperial Aramaic, and it's still used today. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Syriac alphabet, kicking in after the 3rd century CE, went through some serious evolution. It morphed through the Pahlavi scripts and Sogdian alphabets into the alphabets used in North Asia, like the Old Turkic alphabet, Old Uyghur alphabet, Mongolian writing systems, and even the Manchu alphabet. And just when you think it couldn't get any crazier, we've got the Georgian scripts, whose origins are a bit of a mystery. They could be part of either the Persian Aramaic family or the Greek alphabet family. So around the 8th century BCE, the Greeks were intrigued by the Phoenician alphabet and decided to adapt it to suit their language. They created the first true alphabet where vowels were given equal importance alongside consonants. Legend has it that this alphabet made its way from Phoenicia to Greece thanks to a figure named Cadmus. Interestingly, while Phoenician focused mainly on consonants, Greek needed to represent vowels as well, so they repurposed some Phoenician consonants to serve as vowels. For instance, Phoenicians Alep and Ain became Greek's Alpha and O, representing vowels instead of consonants. However, this didn't cover all of the Greek vowels, so they had to get a bit creative with digraphs and other adjustments. Different versions of the Greek alphabet emerged, like the Kume alphabet in southern Italy and the Eastern Greek version in Asia Minor, but eventually, Athens adopted the Eastern Greek variant and it became the standard. And here's an interesting tidbit. While the Phoenicians wrote from right to left, the Greeks switched things up and wrote from left to right. It's fascinating to see how the Greek alphabet evolved from its Phoenician roots, paving the way for modern alphabets we use today. So, Greek serves as the foundation for all modern European scripts. The alphabet of the early Western Greek dialects, where the letter eta remained in h, led to creation of the Old Italic alphabet, which later evolved into the Old Roman alphabet. However, in the Eastern Greek dialects, while there was no h sound, eta represented a vowel. This remained the case in modern Greek, and all other alphabets derived from the Eastern variants. While it may seem like scripts evolved in a neat linear fashion, it's not quite that simple. Take Georgian scripts for example. They have roots in the Semitic family, but were heavily influenced by Greek during their conception. And then there's Coptic Egyptian, which used a modified version of the Greek alphabet alongside Demotic hieroglyphs. And let's not forget Cree syllabics, an Abugida system developed by missionary James Evans. It's a unique blend of Devangari and Pitman shorthand, showcasing how scripts can evolve through cross-cultural exchange. So while the evolution of scripts might seem straightforward at first glance, it's actually a fascinating tapestry of influences and innovations. So way back in the Italian peninsula, a tribe known as the Latins, who eventually became the Romans, were sort of in alliance with the Western Greeks. Around the 7th century BCE, they decided to hop on the writing train and adopt the Etruscan and Western Greek scripts. But here's where things get interesting. The Latins put their own spin on things, dropping 4 characters from the Western Greek alphabet and making some tweaks to the Etruscan letters. For example, they took the Etruscan letter F, pronounced like a W, and gave it the F sound, and that zigzaggy Etruscan S, they curved it into the modern S we know today. To represent sounds like G in Greek and K in Etruscan, they brought the gamma. These changes led to the modern alphabet we know today, just like the letters G, J, U, W, Y, and Z, among other differences. Also, the Romans were all about efficiency, so they made C, K, and Q make multiple sounds representing both the K and G sounds. Eventually, they even tweaked the alphabet again to borrow some Greek words, adding Y and Z to the end, since they were only used in Greek words. But the alphabet evolution didn't stop there. Fast forward to the Anglo-Saxons in Britain, who started using Roman letters to write Old English after converting to Christianity in the 6th century. And ever wonder why they have the letter W? Well, it started out as a W because of the runic wen, which represented the W sound, but it looked too much like a P. And as for J, it began as a fancy variation of I, but by the 15th century, it was pulling double duty for consonant and vowel sounds. Here we have a chart of the evolution of the modern Latin lowercase. The order of the letters of the alphabet dates back to around the 14th century BCE, discovered in the ancient town of Ugarit on Syria's northern coast. Among the over 1,000 cuneiform signs found on tablets there, about 12 of them lay out these signs in alphabetic order. What's fascinating is that there are 2 distinct orders found, one closely resembling the order used for Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, while the other bears a striking resemblance to the order used for Ethiopian. Now let's look at the Proto-Semitic alphabet, the precursor to many alphabets we know today. While we're not exactly sure how many letters it had or what the order was, its descendants give us some clues. The Ugaritic alphabet boasted 27 consonants, while the South Arabian alphabet had 29, and the Phoenician alphabet streamlined it down to 22. Interestingly, these scripts were organized into 2 orders, an ABGDE order in Phoenician and an HMHLQ order in the South, with Ugaritic preserving both. As the alphabet spread and evolved, letter names remained remarkably stable across descendants like Samaritan, Aramaic, Syriac, Arabic, Hebrew, and Greek. However, they were mostly ditched in scripts like Tifinagh, Latin, and Cyrillic. The letter sequence itself continued almost unchanged into Latin, Armenian, Gothic, and Cyrillic, but took a different path in scripts like Brahmi, Runic, and Arabic. First up, we've got the Maldivian script, a true enigma in the alphabet world. Although it draws inspiration from Arabic and possibly other existing alphabets, its letter forms are actually derived from numerals. Next, we have the Korean Hangul, a shining example of independent creation. Back in 1443, King Sejong the Great of Korea wanted to make an alphabet so he could improve literacy rates, and just like that, Hangul was born, with its unique characters crafted from scratch. Now let's shine a spotlight on the Osmania alphabet, crafted in the 1920s for Somali by Osman Yusuf Kinadid. Its consonant forms seem to be complete innovations, breaking the mold and forging a new path in alphabet design. But wait, there's more. Take a look at the Bapomofo phonetic alphabet, born from the rich tapestry of Chinese characters. And over in eastern India, the Santali alphabet is a true original, drawing inspiration from traditional symbols and pictographs invented by its creator. And let's not forget the ancient wonders of Ogham in early medieval Ireland, consisting of tally marks that evolved into a unique alphabet. Meanwhile, the monumental inscriptions of the Old Persian Empire dazzled with their essentially alphabetic cuneiform script, specifically crafted for the occasion. Let's wrap up our alphabet history with a look at how changes in writing mediums can sometimes shake things up. Take the cuneiform Ugaritic alphabet, for instance. It's not immediately obvious that it stems from a prototypical Semitic Abjad. However, upon closer inspection, it seems to be the case, showcasing how shifts in writing mediums can sometimes blur the lines of origin. Now, let's talk about manual alphabets. Both the British two-handed and the French-American one-handed alphabets maintain the forms of the Latin alphabet, just as the Indian manual alphabet mirrors Devanagari and the Korean version echoes Hangul. But when it comes to Braille, semaphore, maritime signal flags, and Morse codes, things take a different turn. These systems rely on arbitrary geometric forms rather than directly mirroring the shapes of letters. For example, the shapes of English Braille and semaphore letters don't directly correspond to their graphic counterparts. It's a whole new visual language. And let's not forget shorthand. Unlike traditional alphabets, most modern shorthand systems transcribe sounds rather than letters. They're all about capturing speech efficiently and quickly, offering a unique twist on the art of writing. That's going to be the end of the video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed and learned something new, and I'll be back with the language comparisons and analyses soon. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.